Okay.
Chicka.
Yeah.
Kill Bill and Rev. We don't suck.
Ooh.
Hey.
Boop, 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 boop.
A episode
86, which is coincidentally the age that you will die.
Bill, what's interesting is this is a special episode. Last episode was supposed to be a special episode where we challenge ourselves to not say the word like in a filler way.
Yeah.
And we forgot to do it, so I think it's time that we do it. Now, instead of taking...
Is it also the words you know, too?
Do you want to include that?
Yeah, because listening back, at least when I say like, it sounds normal. But when I cut out so many you knows
Yeah.
that are, well, particularly mine, because I'm a little self-conscious about it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something I really need to work on.
Cut out you knows despite your face.
Man, if you talk to me like that one more time, I'm going to kiss you.
So, Bill, let's decide on the guidelines, because we were briefly talking about it before this podcast, but we didn't settle on the guidelines. So, guys, we are not going to be taking shots of alcohol because we do need to record some Let's Play stuff after the podcast. So instead, we've opted for hot sauce. But how hot are we talking, Bill? How hot are we going?
Okay, so I'm going to read off some of the ingredients on this bad boy. Oh, I got two of them. I'm going to rotate between two of them. Mm-hmm. I got Elijah's Extreme Handcrafted Ghost Pepper Sauce. I got this in a Bilo. Mm-hmm. The ingredients are, okay, so this is something to take into account. If you look at the ingredients and the first ingredient is water, you're probably not going to have a very hot sauce because that means there's more water in it.
Okay.
In comparison to everything else. Ingredients, Naga Jalokia and habanero peppers. So the first ingredient is Naga Jalokia, which is ghost pepper, and habanero peppers, which are both very hot. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this one's pretty hot. And then I got another one, which is from Bravado Spice Company. I think I got this off of Heatonist, which is a fire website, by the way.
Yeah.
They have black garlic Carolina Reaper sauce. So the last one was rated 4 out of 5 in heat. This one's rated 5 out of 5 in heat.
Right.
I've had both of these, and they're both gnarly as fuck.
They sound gnarly.
The ingredients on this one are vinegar first, then red Serrano, then Carolina Reaper. But the Reaper is so fucking hot,
right,
that it doesn't have to be the number one. You don't want it to be like a mash. But yeah, this one's pretty good. I don't know what I would put this on though. It's just kind of good by itself. So I got a spoon here, and those are my two. I'm gonna start with anytime I say like or you know, and I'm called out on it.
Right, you have to be called out on it specifically.
I have to.
Right.
Yes, I have to eat one of these two sauces in a spoon. So how about you, buddy? What do you got over there?
Well, I'm going with the Scorpion Pepper and Passion by Mahi. It's a hot pepper sauce that's rated 5 out of 5 in terms of the heat. It is pretty chunky with seeds, and the ingredients are, let me see, one moment. White vinegar, scorpion pepper mash, sugar, passion pulp, modified cornstarch, peppers, garlic puree, citric acid, and xanthan gum. And in parentheses it says stabilizer. But yes, the scorpion pepper mash accounts for 16% of this thing, and I've had it a couple of times, and it sucks. It's tasty a bit, but it hurts like hell coming in, and it hurts like hell times 2 coming out. So I feel like, basically, Bill, this is shock therapy for us, right? We're tired of using all these filler words and expressions. They are holding us back from being better podcasters.
Yeah, they're holding us back. We could be better. This is basically the equivalent of getting into the gravity chamber in Dragon Ball Z. Like, oh God, I said it.
Wait, we didn't start. We can, I'll let that one slide because we didn't start. We should. How about we agree to start now? Okay.
Okay, starting now.
Starting now.
All right.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna speak for the rest of the podcast. You just have fun.
I want to hear this comparison that you were throwing out there with the Dragon Ball stuff and such.
Oh yeah. So you could liken this experience to Vegeta in the increased gravity chamber in Dragon Ball Z, because we are torturing our bodies to better ourselves.
True.
In the same way that Vegeta tortured his body to better himself and increase his power level, as we are doing now.
And this is what I like, and I mean, this was not a filler or expression of it. This is what I like about this, is that we are talking a bit robotic at the moment because we are hyperfixating on our speech. However, what I predict will happen as the podcast goes on, it'll be more natural for us over time. And by the end of this podcast, we're just going to talk so well and podcasty and professional. So I'm excited.
What podcast are you listening to where people don't use like and you know?
That's a great question. I think there's
Like what professional podcast?
Sam Harris. You know his podcast.
I'm not a Scientologist, so I don't know who that is.
Right, that explains why you don't know who he is. Bill, tell me, how's everything been? How's your leg? Are you getting closer to recovery now? It's been quite a while since you broke it, right? It's been almost 2 weeks, or am I tripping? Sorry, 2 months, not weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little more than 2 weeks. Imagine you break your leg and then someone says to you, hey, it's been 2 weeks, man. Hurry it up. It's doing pretty good. I can put a little bit of weight on it. I can walk on it.
That's good.
A little. But my problem is it's just my ankle is super stiff.
Right.
And I'm used to being able to just walk normally, but two things. It swells when I've been up or when I've had it down for a long time. It'll swell up a little bit, just the ankle, and it hurts then. And so like right now I've got, oh God, I just said like, I'm sorry. I said like right now.
No, you said it.
That's okay, right?
You said it correctly, right?
Okay, I said it right. Sorry, my brain. Okay.
Don't worry.
So like right now, I have my foot up at on a chair with an ice pack on it just to make sure that it does not swell during this experience. But I'm sorry, my brain doesn't
For a second,
work
yeah, for a second I
sometimes.
thought you did say like, and I thought you even said you know, but then I was not entirely sure, so I gave you a pass because I'm just as paranoid and as panicky
I said
as
like
you are.
the same way. I said like again.
Yes, you
the
did.
same way I just said it when you said that it was correct.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because you said
I don't know. We can run that
'cause you
back
said,
and
but like
we can do a
because
photo
like you
finish.
said because like now, and
That's what I'm saying.
right,
As in right now.
Okay, so like it's similar to how it is now is what you're saying. You're likening it to the present moment is what you're saying.
Yes, but that's exactly what I said when you said that I said it the correct way.
Right. Okay, because that's how I
just
understood it.
repeated
I
the
just wanted to
phrase.
double check that with you.
Okay. We're on the same page here. I don't have to drink the hot sauce
No,
yet.
this is how normal people interact. We're both sweating bullets right now. It's just, did I say this? Did I say that? Does that count?
Okay, so listen to me, friend.
Listening.
I have my leg up, have a little ice on it. I can walk on it a little bit, but then it gets really sore. Also, my foot hurts.
Okay.
That's kind of weird. I didn't expect my foot to hurt, but I guess it's because I haven't been using it.
Right.
And when I do use it, at the end of the day, it feels like somebody hit my foot with a hammer. And I'm like, oh, I did. I definitely said like right there. So I should
Okay, you go
definitely
for it. Well, while
hot
you're
sauce.
doing that, I was going to ask, do you do sort of exercises involving, I don't know, spelling things out with your toes in the air? Things like that, you know?
Yes.
I said, you know,
I don't.
fuck.
I don't spell anything particularly out. I just do the alphabet.
I said, you know.
I don't. Did you say you know?
I did.
I didn't even notice it.
Maybe I should. Well, then
looks like we're in this together, brother.
Yeah, we called ourselves out rather than each other. So are we going?
That's how you know we're trying to get better.
How much are we putting on the spoon? I got a teaspoon here, but I want to know like. And this doesn't count because I'm putting it here. Okay.
I mean, I just have a tablespoon. I'm not saying that we should use. I just grabbed it because it was clean.
Right. So, how much are we grabbing?
How much are you feeling, buddy? Because I'm down to go down this rabbit hole as deep as you are.
I was thinking just to pace ourselves and to not blow up our anuses, going something approximate to 1/3 of a teaspoon.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it.
Yeah, I'm eyeballing it on my end as well.
It's kind of hard to do with a tablespoon. Okay. Oh, this is very viscous. Never mind. I have a lot on here.
Yeah, this is very viscous too. It's very chunky.
Oh, I meant mine is not viscous. Is that what that means? Is viscous thick?
I always thought as viscous is kind of thick, but I may be wrong.
I think you're right. I think you're correct in what you are saying and thinking.
Let's check with Siri. Hey Siri, define viscous.
I found this on the web. If you find Hey Siri can find viscous. Check it out.
I hate you, you bitch. What does viscous
I won't
mean?
respond to them.
What does viscous mean?
Which word? V-I.
This one?
Viscous means having a thick, sticky consistency
Oh, you
between
got
solid
it.
and liquid.
Yeah, there we go.
That bitch is lying though. She's a COVID denier.
She's a flat earther. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm doing the ghost pepper sauce. Also, I don't have anything to drink either, so fuck me.
Oh god.
Let's do this, brother. You ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Oh god.
Oh fuck.
Oh man, I forgot how.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh.
I hate. Man, this one sticks. This one has staying power. This one
Oh, I got hiccups. Oh god, that's not good. Woo.
This one's not gonna step down from the presidency.
Oh.
Okay, so good.
Mine's
so
a
good.
dictator.
Moving on.
Oh god, I can't. Hold on, give me a second.
You good?
God.
You good? You could ask me a question. So while you get over your hiccups,
How's the weather over there?
It's been okay actually, not so bad. It's gotten better. So you know how like a week. Oh god damn it! I avoided saying you know in the wrong way. I said it in the right way, and I said like.
Oh man, you know what?
No, I'm taking it, dude. I have to.
Oh god, dude, you're gonna kill yourself. Oh god, this is so hot.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so.
Oh, I can feel it in my chest.
I don't know if the water's a good idea or a bad idea. I feel like I just spread it across my mouth. Anyway, so. The weather has gotten better, as in approximately 2 weeks ago, it was just too hot. We talked about it.
Yeah.
We were having a pissing contest in terms of temperatures.
Yes.
But now things have settled a bit, more gray. Today in particular is very windy and has been kind of rainy as of late.
Oh yeah, well over here it's a little bit more gray and a little bit more rainy and a little bit more chill.
Yeah, well, we have a swampy, dry heat here.
Yeah. Over here it's pretty chill right now. I won't lie to you. I mean, it's pretty hot outside, but it's always kind of hot out here, so it's not out of the normal. But it's also the day is young.
That's true. It's still morning time over there.
Yes, man. That was rough, man.
Yeah, it's burning me. My mouth is burning, but I actually feel. The best way I can describe this is as if I just took a sip of lava, and I can feel it oozing down into my stomach, but I can feel it inside, like behind my chest.
Yeah,
and it's going down.
That's where I'm at too. I feel like I'm pretty good with hot sauce. I used to do a spoon of hot sauce before we would record all the time.
That's right, yeah.
I used to do the last dab all the time. But I will say the last dab is not as hot as people make it out to be. It's hot.
Right.
It's really hot, and it feels like you just got off of a roller coaster. This is like a real bad stinging in the back of my throat.
Yeah, I had, you know what? I first kind of, when I licked the spoon, it kind of got on my lips, like my upper lip. And it does burn my upper lip. And I thought, oh, it's going to be one of those, the lip and tongue burners, because that's what burned. But then as soon as it hit my throat, I immediately went, oh no. And now I still feel it oozing. I could point on my body and be like, there it is, it's somewhere there right now.
I can feel it in my tum-tum right now.
So yeah, there we go. Well, that was a great, engaging conversation for the audience to listen to. We talked about your leg. We've talked about the weather.
The weather?
So honestly, we're taking all the podcast boxes at this point.
How about, I got an idea. How about instead of asking each other questions, do you have any stories you could tell? Like maybe just a random crazy story that happened to you, and then I'll do the same, and we try to tell these stories without using the words like or you know.
Yeah, we could certainly try that. I'd have to think on okay, so I think I've got one.
I've got one as well. I mean, if you want to go first, feel free to, but I could tell mine.
Sure. I drew like a doodle. I used to doodle a lot in class, in high school especially. And during one of my classes, I was doodling, as I always did, and I drew, and it was a bad doodle, but it was a doodle of George Bush. You know,
Sexy.
young me was very political. With his mouth open, and instead of his tongue, it was a roll of toilet paper that was unfolding.
That's fire.
And so you think, wow, Rav, that story is pretty fucking nuts. But this is where it gets crazy. The gentleman that was sitting next to me, he was a member of the Qatar royal family, and he saw that, and he was super political, at least at that point in his life. And he said, "Can I have that, please?" And I said, "Sure." So he took it, and then months later, I found out that he framed it at his home in Qatar. And the person who's in charge of like the big, I said like just now. Well, I'm grabbing the spoon. I'll say there's a person who, and honestly, I think I probably said more than
I was trying to pay attention to your story, so I didn't even really pay attention to the likes.
That's good, because we're supposed to call each other out, and that's fine. You know?
Okay, I got you.
Like for like a quarter second, it's so sweet. For a quarter second, it's so sweet and tasty. And then it's a nightmare. So, as I was saying, so he framed it, and the person in charge of the museum, like arts museum in his city, he's friends with the royal family. I think he might be also connected to the royal family. So anyway, he's in charge. He's visiting him, and he sees the doodle framed, and he offered him north of, I think, 20 or 40 grand for the doodle.
Damn.
So that he could put it in the museum. And the dude rejected his offer.
That's rough.
So that's a random
You could have been in
fact.
a museum, bro. I mean, you're instead in the Qatar royal family, but you could have been.
It's in a royal home.
That's
At least
pretty tight.
It's framed.
That's pretty tight.
It's a doodle I made in high school. So there we go. There's a crazy story.
I already knew that story, but I was still listening intently.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And for you not calling out all of my...
Just because I'm bad at paying attention. That's really what it was. Good. I can only do one thing at a time, not the two things. So you're lucky, Buster.
I'm sure there's someone in the comment section who's counting all the instances and is going to tell us exactly how many times we said like and you know as filler terms specifically, and how many times we've actually eaten hot sauce.
They'll have several pie charts and graphs made.
Right, I hope so, yes. And an animation, a PowerPoint presentation with like the dissolve fade outs and all that. So Bill, anyway.
Not the star wipes.
Right. So Bill, I apologies for interrupting your story. I would love to hear your crazy story.
Okay, so have I ever told the acid story on here? I feel like I've had to have at least once.
I don't think you've ever told the acid story here. You've told me, but
That's so crazy. Oh man. Okay, this is gonna be very difficult for me to say without saying like, and you know, this is very hard mode for me. So
yes,
you guys
which is
have
perfect.
to, you know. Ah, shit! I said it right there.
Oh man, and I didn't even catch that.
I just said
was too busy
but does that
drinking
even count
water
if I
and
say, like,
hoping
you
that
know,
it does something.
You know, in between something. Does that even fucking
Right,
count?
right. Oh, you're making. Maybe that's what's gonna happen towards the end of this podcast. We're just gonna get better at saying like, and you know, in a way where people don't notice it.
I think I already say it like that. Sometimes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do a shot of this black garlic Carolina Reaper, which hopefully won't be as bad as that other one, because that other one was gnarly.
I feel as if I have labored breathing.
Don't
In the way
die,
that
please. Don't die. Please.
It's all right. Worst case scenario,
You die.
I'm just going to shit myself viciously.
Yeah, okay.
Violently.
I'm putting a little bit of this black garlic. It's from Bravado. If I remember correctly, this is pretty hot, but it's not like crazy. I'm smelling it.
Okay.
It smells pretty good, but it smells hot. It smells kind of like it smells like another hot sauce.
Okay.
Did that count?
No, because it smells like something else.
Sorry, I thought that counted for a second for some reason. I think it's because I'm just in a.
Also, while you're in the process of taking the hot sauce or whatever, I feel like you're getting like invisibility frames. Okay.
What does
Get
that
it?
mean? Oh! I see what you're saying.
Right. Well, as you're putting it on the spoon and you're consuming it, before you put the spoon down, you have invisibility frames because you're having that rush from about to ingest hot sauce and post ingesting hot sauce.
I'm ingesting the
and it
hot
is
sauce right now,
difficult.
by the way. Here goes.
Best of luck, friend.
That is.
So yeah.
Hold on.
Chug.
I gotta say, it's not nearly as bad as the other one. Oh man, it's a creeper. It's a real creeper.
I was about to say, are you sure? Because there's a lot of creepers.
The Reaper is a creeper.
You know.
I've always heard that the ghost pepper is more of a creeper, but this one's much more bearable. It's all tongue heat. You know, I just said it again. Who cares? I'm on invisibility.
No, it's okay.
frames.
You had invisibility frames there, and I said it real quickly too, and you didn't catch that, so I'm gonna let you slip too. Once.
I have a water somewhere around here. I know I do. Give me a moment.
I don't know if it'll help, buddy.
Oh,
Get
I
it
found
together. So,
I found
guys,
it.
while Bill is doing that, he's back.
Go ahead, talk.
I was just
drinking
going
water.
to say, how's everybody feeling about this podcast? Your favorite, right? This is really entertaining to listen to us.
It's about to be real entertaining because I'm about to tell the craziest story ever.
Do it. I'm just terrified of the prospect of speaking. I'm terrified about the prospect of speaking. So you going into a story now is a huge relief for me. All I'm going to say is, right? Wow. Okay, I see. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Are you not going to challenge yourself? Sorry, I'm chugging water as we speak.
You chug that. You chug that water like your life depends on it.
Water is just momentary relief. That's what it feels like.
It really is. As it's going into your mouth, it feels as if, okay, it's relieving me. As soon as you stop, it's back. It's back at the same intensity.
My lips
So
are
I'm not
burning.
sure.
But the tip of my tongue is the worst part on this one.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, the tip of my tongue is pretty bad. My upper lip still burns. My throat burns, and now everything's reached my stomach for the most part. And I definitely have you know how it feels when you
chew 5 gum.
You're expecting like, oh god damn it,
A baby
you're expecting diarrhea
or a baby.
Or a baby, a wet dookie baby, and that's how it feels right now. And I'm just gonna make it worse. I should stop talking. I shouldn't let you allow me to talk.
Sorry, I keep burping because I'm dying.
You good?
Internally.
You good?
I'm gonna attempt to tell this fucking story. So here goes. So the year was 2015. 2016. 2016. Sorry. The year was 2016. And just to preface this, I did acid twice before this. Well, 3 times. No, 3 times before this happened. The first 2 times were very chill experiences where I had...
Microdosing?
They felt kind of like microdosing, but I'm not entirely sure if it was. I was given 1 tab of acid, and they didn't tell me how much it was. So the first 2 times I had a very emotional experience with very few visual aspects. It was mostly just this overwhelming euphoria, this connection with things around me. I told you one time, I think I might have said it on the podcast, but the second time I tripped, I was outside and I was near this tree and I pulled some tree bark off of it and I cried at how beautiful it was and all the little intricacies.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, the little intricacies of everything that led up to the point of life, all these small coincidences that worked out perfectly. That was kind of the second trip was all based on that. The first trip was very like internal. I said like again, I'm drinking.
I was just about to say, I think you may have said it.
I'm gonna listen.
I wish we went with alcohol.
I'm hitting myself with this Tapatio instead. I can't tell this story and it be a good story without. So I'm just gonna do normal ass Tapatio if that's okay.
Just may do whatever. Look, it's just you and God.
Okay, God would not be mad at the Tapatio. Tapatio is actually God's favorite hot sauce. Here goes down the hatch. It's so good.
Yeah, I wish I should have grabbed my Cholula or something.
Oh man, I could do that. I'd like to do this. So now I'm gonna say like a whole bunch more times just so I can enjoy my Tapatio. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So this is all leading up to the third time I tripped, which I tripped. My girl was there, but she didn't take any. Thank God. And I thought that it was going to be like the first few times that I tripped. And it wasn't like the first few times I tripped. And I am hyper-focused on what I'm saying right now and the heat in my mouth. So the third time I tripped, it was very visual. I feel like I didn't learn anything from the experience. And that's why I decided to quit taking acid, was because the first 2 times I tripped, I felt like I learned something very important about myself and my surroundings. The third time I tripped, it was just sort of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Sort of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
So that batch of acid that I was given from a friend was given to me and my roommate. My roommate decided that he was going to trip with a few of his friends without telling me. And I was already kind of getting out of the acid game. At that point, I was
so after your third time, you were confident that you've had your fill.
Yes. I also said while you were talking, so I'm going to take another Tapatio shot. This is a little bit more bearable. I'm doing a lot of Tapatio, though. I'm going to have the worst shits ever, dude.
Yeah, I think I may have taken 5 or 6 thirds of tea. That means I must have taken about 2 teaspoons.
Yes. After I'm done with this story, or if I do a really big fuck up, I'll take another one. But I want to tell this story.
So far, so good. Don't worry. You're doing good.
So even the Tapatio exacerbates the heat that was already in my mouth.
The existing heat, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a small little, it's not even hot really, but it just makes you feel like you're going to die. So
it reopens the wounds.
Yes. So my roommate, I was working as a DJ at the time, and I had a gig where I stayed out really late. It was a wedding in Somerville or somewhere, and so that's like a 45-minute drive. I just said it again. I don't even think that was
tough.
Technically,
it was tough telling the story about my doodle.
Yeah,
I was so terrified
about your doodle, bro. Like your dicks,
man.
Okay, so dude. I stay out till around 4:00 in the morning. I come back and I sleep in the next day because typically, I like sleeping in general, but typically after doing a gig like that, I would stay out, then sleep in really late. So I sleep until about noon, and I get up, and my roommate had a friend that he played League of Legends with that came, and he was from Toronto, and I just said it again.
Yeah, I think you may have also said right before it, but it was done within a second, so
did I say
that's a new rule introduced? I believe so, but I think they were half a second or a second apart, so it doesn't
count. I just counted the I didn't even notice the Okay, I'll just do a big shot. Oh my god, the spoon's full of
Don't do a big shot. Don't do your big shot. You remember that idea song?
The Tapatio's not so bad. I could do a big shot of it and not feel like I'm gonna die.
Okay. I remember first time I heard "You're a Big Shot," that song in one of the Tony Hawk games.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, so my friends all decided that they were going to trip that day, and he had a friend fly down from Toronto who he played League of Legends with and was a general online buddy. I think he was inspired by how you came to see me. And so this guy stayed for a week or so, maybe 2, just on our couch. And he had the same batch of acid that I had. And so friend 3, I'm going to just give everybody friend 1, friend 2, friend 3. So friend 1.
That's their real names.
Yes, that's their real names. It's like thing 1 and thing 2. So friend 1 is my roommate. Friend 2 is his friend. And friend 3 is my former roommate who we're still friends with. And
gotcha.
So I wake up at noon. I'll walk in and I see everybody's just chilling, smoking, having a good time. Normal shit for a Saturday afternoon when everyone's off. But as I walk in, everyone says, "Hey, we just dropped acid. Do you want to trip with us?" And I said no. I said I was good. Yada yada. I just didn't really want to be involved. But then they said, "Do you mind babysitting us?" And I said, "Sure, that's fine." I enjoy doing that. I feed off of other people's vibes, and when everyone's having a good time, it feels like I'm having a good time. So
I feel you on that.
So I sit in there and I'm showing them trippy music videos. I showed them Zodiac shit from Flying Lotus, which is, if you haven't seen it, is Acid 101 watching. I showed them a bunch of I'm taking a shot as I say this. I showed them a bunch of a double shot Black Moss Super Rainbow.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I've never taken shrooms or acid. I've yet to drop acid. I would like to do that, but I haven't done it yet. But
Here goes down the hatch.
Super Mod, Black Moth Super Rainbow is certainly, to me, as someone who's never taking psychedelics like that, to me, it just seems like it would be. I just said like would be a very appropriate kind of music.
Yeah, it's the most. By the way, good luck on your shot. It's the most accurate to the Acidian experience, in my opinion, is Black Moss Super Rainbow. I can't think of something that makes me think more of being on acid than BMSR. So yeah,
all those Moog synths and such.
It's so good. It's so beautiful. So I'm showing them music videos, and then this is where shit starts to get a little fucky. We're all sitting. It was in this room. I remember this was my roommate's old room, which I've now repurposed as a studio when he moved out. We had the TV set up in here, and we put on. I was trying to think of things that remind me of acid, and I put on Easy Rider by Action Bronson, which, by the way, is not a very good acid song. Just throwing that out there. Didn't think it through.
Okay.
The video has a lot of like confrontation in it, taking a shot. Has a lot of confrontation in it.
It's very Tarantino-esque in terms of the violence, right?
Yes, it's a great music video, but it's more about, hey, look, he's on acid and there's violence, but I would not pair that video with acid. So
I see.
As we're watching it, I look over at my friend, and everyone's having a great time, but you could tell everyone's starting to trip. It's been about an hour, and everybody's having a good time, and I look back, and I see friend 2, and his eyes were huge. His pupils were huge, and he just looked, you know, the Japanese Homer Simpson ad from The Simpsons? Mm-hmm. He looked like that. That kind of...
Gotcha.
You know, that look in his eyes. Look over at friend 3, and he's having a grand old time.
You just said, you know.
Well, I'm already taking a shot. I'll just double up on it. Fuck it.
I mean, how about you just save it up, and if you do it like 2 or 3 more times, you take a shot of a proper one. Or like we could tally it up until like the end of your story.
Oh.
I just said like, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Until the end of your story, and then you can just choo-choo train all of it.
Oh.
I got the teaspoon in my hands. I'm getting high. I'll just be honest with you. I'm getting a hot high. Yeah.
It's a thing. Oh, fuck. The Tapatio.
Like, I'm starting to get silly.
From this point on, I'm gonna
like
have to just tell the story, and then we just tally it up at the end.
And then, I'm just gonna count. Don't worry.
Oh God, it's gonna be so bad.
I'll say it out loud. I'll be like 1 every time you say something. Then I'll say 2.
Okay. So, friend 1 having a good time. Friend 2 having a good time. Friend 3 having a good time. I look over at friend 1, and friend 1's looking at me. Kind of how... kind of how someone would look at a murderer. You know? Just has this...
1.
Yeah. Kind of how someone would look at a murderer. You feel me? No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. I do feel you.
But he kind of has this look in his eyes.
You're anticipating confirmation.
He has this look in his eyes that is not pleasant. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on with friend 1? So I ask him, hey, friend 1.
You think that out loud.
Yeah,
you say it out loud. What is going on with friend 1?
He looks at me even more murderously. And he's holding the bottle of water in his hands. And I'm saying to myself, this is normal. Friend 1 has a quest for hydration. But he's not opening the bottle. He's just kind of fidgeting with it. And I ask him, hey, friend 1, you good back there? And he says, I can't drink this water. Just like that. I can't drink this water. And I said, why, why not?
His experience points aren't high enough for that potion.
Right. He couldn't afford it. So I says to him, why can't you drink this water? And he says, it's been tainted. And then I knew this man was wigging out. He was really tripping hard in a negative way.
So when he says tainted, he doesn't mean he believes that you dipped your sack in it. He believes
that it's been drugged.
You're out to get him.
That someone,
right.
And I then realized that this person had told me that they'd tried acid before, and one time it didn't do anything, and the other time they became very paranoid and thought that his mom was going to find him on acid. And then I didn't really think about it much beyond that. I just thought he had a bad trip, not thinking maybe he shouldn't take acid anymore. You know, I just said, two. So I go to him and I ask him, hey, everything okay? What's going on? And he gets up and he's like, three. He says, what did you do to my fucking water? Very aggro, he's standing up at me. And I became a little bit concerned. I said to him, hey, no one did anything to your water. I'll beat the shit out of you, piece of shit. No, I just asked him politely, what's your fucking problem?
Right, as one should.
No, I was trying to de-escalate the situation because I knew that he was very paranoid and seemed to be kind of turning against people in the room. It felt like his energy was not good.
It's not good.
He then, okay, I go in the other room, I come back, and he's not there. He's not in this room anymore, and he's in his room. I go to his room, and I ask him, hey, everything good? Let's talk. Let's get through this trip. Basically saying, I can tell you're having a bad trip. And he says, take me to my mom. I'm going to go see my mom. And then I knew that this dude was lost. I couldn't do anything for him at this point because he was being very aggressive. He kept saying, take me to my mom. His mom lived 2 hours away by car, about an hour and a half away by car. And I didn't want him driving because he was clearly fucked up out of his mind. And
of course. So
then my other roommate says, hey, just tell him you'll take him, but then don't take him. Like, just tell him I just said, like, it's 4. Just tell him
4. So wait, but this is a friend who's also high trying to help you defuse this.
Yes,
right?
but he held himself together very well for someone who was high. And so
gotcha.
He trying to remember where I'm at. So he tells me, just tell him you'll take him, but then don't take him. He'll forget. He's high as fuck. Just say you're going to go take a shower, go into your room, and don't come out for an hour. And he said it so matter-of-factly. I said, yeah, sure, that makes sense. I tell him I'll take him to see his mom. I go take a shower, chill in my room for about an hour and a half. I come out, and he's laying on the floor directly in front of my door, so much so that when I opened my door, it hit him in the head a little bit. And he looks at me, he's like, okay, good, we're going to Columbia to go see my mom. And I said, fuck, he remembered. And he was still, and I told him, I was, hey man, I can't take you to see your mom right now. You're fucked up on acid. And then he says, you lied, gets up and just bolts out the door. Now, to inform you guys how my driveway situation is, I live in the fucking sticks, down a dirt road, off of a dirt road. It's an L shape. You go straight up to a mailbox, and then you take a left and go down this dirt road for a long ways, and then there's a highway, you see? And so he's just taking off down the corner of this L. By the time that I catch up to him, which for whatever reason I didn't get in my car, don't know why, just decided I was going to run after him. And one of the funniest parts about this is me running after him and him looking back at me saying, I know you can't catch me. You're not as fast as me. Just over and over, right? Okay. Just saying, I know you can't catch me. You're not as fast as me. He was right. I could not catch him. But just for, there's another factor into the story that I did not mention. My parents live very close to me. They live kind of at the end of that L shape towards the highway. And he gets in front of my parents' house and just sits down in the dirt road, cross-legged. Okay? Just chilling in a dirt road right in front of my parents' house. Well, by the time we get up there to him, get caught up to him, I'm just saying to him, hey, friend one, let's go back inside and go chill. Let's just try to be sober because we're right in front of my parents' house. Let's just act sober. And he said, I don't remember what sober feels like or what sober is. And I say, sober is going the fuck inside and acting normal. And he, right at this point, I look over and my dad is coming out down the ramp to check on us. Rightfully so, because we've been sitting there arguing with this dude who's sitting cross-legged in the middle of a dirt road where cars go. All right? And bear in mind, my other friends are here. Friend 2 and 3 are here. And they're tripping dick. I have no idea what's going on.
So they're are they out there with you, or are they
we're
inside?
All together. We're all together.
Oh wow!
With him.
What are they doing at this point? Because they're tripping out. Are they attempting to assist you?
They were trying to help. They were
words?
trying to help, but they were a lot better off than him mentally. They could hold his. Friend 3 was acting sober, even though he was tripping. Friend 2 was kind of just being quiet and tripping dick and watching. You know.
Gotcha.
4 or 5.
Observing.
Where are we at? I said, you know.
That was 5, yeah.
Okay, so, damn, fuck me.
I wouldn't have caught that had you not pointed out.
Yeah, but I'm trying to better myself.
Even though I've heard this story.
This is very hard. I feel kind of bad telling this story under this circumstance because I feel as if.
Oh, you're still making it very engaging. I've heard this story
like 20 times
after it happened, you know, and I've heard it a handful of times since, and it still grips me. Like,
yeah, we haven't even gotten to the crazy part. Yeah, so
I'm already like at the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
On the edge of my seat.
So my dad comes out. I see friend 3 walking over to my dad, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I just said like again. I say, "What the fuck?"
That's 6.
One of my problems is that I want to say I'm like, what the fuck, instead of saying I say what the fuck, because I wouldn't say what the fuck out loud. It's like an internal thing that I'm saying.
Well, you could say, I think to myself, what the fuck?
I think to myself. I says to myself, what the fuck?
I says to myself, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk. If you keep saying I says to myself, you're going to develop a different speech pattern, but maybe
I would rather
it's a new
say
build.
like than I says to myself, I think. But,
so maybe instead you could say, I think at this point I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck?
At this point, I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Why is friend 3 approaching my father? My dad asks, what the hell's going on? Just like that, because he sounds like that.
Yeah.
And friend 3 says, don't worry. He's just getting over heartbreak. The girl at work says she doesn't like him. He's having a bad time. We're just helping him through it. Which was
friend 3 is low-key a genius.
Yes.
And he's secretly the hero of this whole story.
Friend 3 is... I look at friend 3 after that interaction, and his eyes are fucked up. I have no idea how his eyes were like, his pupils were eating his eyes, dude.
I imagine him looking at approaching your dad, putting his hand on his shoulder like, he's just getting over heartbreak. Meanwhile, he has anime eyes, or, you know.
Yeah. So my dad turns around and is walking up the steps, that ramp there. And I'm thinking to myself, we're free, we're good. And as soon as my dad touches the door handle to open it, friend one gets up and just starts sprinting towards the highway.
Uh-oh.
My dad turns around and is like, what the fuck? I just said, like, again. He says, what the fuck? And I...
Oh, yes. It's okay. That one didn't count because I didn't...
I go over to him. My mom comes out because she hears my dad say, what the fuck? She comes to the door, is concerned. And I just remember shrugging, looking at my parents and just saying, he's on acid. I just remember saying it. I didn't know how to say it without it. I was trying to make it seem, it's all good. You know,
quirky.
You know him, quirky old friend one on acid. My mom starts bawling, crying immediately. My dad is mad at me, and
he starts bawling, but like basketball bawling.
He starts bawling uncontrollably, like he's throwing hundreds in the air. So
3-pointers. After 3-pointers.
Yeah, he's basketballing and also just normal bawling, like rapper bawling at the same time.
Yeah, he's got chains on chains.
So yeah, he's not having a good. They're both not having a good time. They're both upset. I see that friend one is heading towards the highway, and that highway, people go 55 through there, or 55 is the speed limit. People go like 80. I just said, like, again, add it to the list. Fuck it. So
okay, I'm adding it.
So I hop in my granddad's old Silverado that was sitting at my parents' house. And I jump in there and I'm flying down that dirt road. I'm trying to save my friend, who at this point I hate because, you know,
yes, of course,
he's pretty much ruined my good time for a while. So he gets to the road and is walking alongside the road, and he's wearing a Spider-Man hoodie that he never took off. It was hot. I don't know why he put that hoodie on. And so I'm riding alongside him, but I'm trying to get over to pull off the road, and he won't let me. He won't move out of the way. He didn't understand that I needed to get off of the road. And I needed to quickly because people fly down that road, and if I just sit there, I could get hit by a car. So I move over in front of him. I kind of like muscle my way in. I get out of the car, and I said, friend one, get in this car. I'm yelling at him, like screaming at the top of my lungs. It probably freaked him out even worse, but I was freaked out. I thought he was going to get hit by a car. And
of course.
And friend one then decides to just take off. I just tackle him, get him on the ground, and I'm sitting on top of him. And I'm a pretty heavy guy. It's hard for him to get, off of me. And I'm glad,
to break loose.
I'm glad that he didn't think about this, but he always kept a switchblade on him. And I'm so glad that he didn't take it out and just stab me to death, because he was out of his mind. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know who I was, basically. He had a very rough idea. I told him again, I said, hey, just calm down. We'll get you to your mom. We'll get your mom here. We'll figure something out, but we got to get you out of this area. And it calms him down. I get him into the truck. I lock the doors, and as we're about to pull off, I see him, and he touches the unlock button on his door. And I said, friend one, I know you're tripping dick right now, but I need you to stay in the vehicle. Don't leave. And I was firm, but I was trying to be friendly. But I was furious because he was putting my life in danger as well. It's one thing to put your life in danger when you're having a bad trip, but also this was very bad just all around. And around this time, my dad pulls up behind me in his Jeep. So he's parked behind me, and my dad gets out and he gets in the back of the truck, and he's trying to, I've got ahead of myself a little. I see friend one. I'm holding him down as he's trying to get out of the car. I'm using my elbow to kind of hold him in place. And then he says, "Hey, Bill, don't make me hit you." And I looked at him and I said, "Friend one, please don't hit me. Don't make this a thing." He rears back and punches me like 3 times in the face. I said, like, again, add to the list. He punches me 3 times in the face. It looked like I had just got in a fight in the UFC. I looked like a MMA fighter or something. And
right, because when you're that out of your mind, you don't really hold back. You kind of hit with
and at the time,
monkey
the
strength.
adrenaline was going, and it didn't hurt that bad. But he gave me a black eye, a cut. He hit me in the mouth. My mouth was bleeding. I didn't lose any
Busted
teeth.
lip.
Busted my lip on the inside though. And so my mouth was bleeding, and I had like a big, added to the list, I had a big spot on my head that was a goose egg. And it straight up looked as if I was in a UFC fight. And just from these 3 shots, bam, 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 real fast. Then I'm holding him down. My dad realizes he's freaking out. My dad gets in the back of the car and starts hitting him in the back of the head. But the thing is my dad couldn't he's from the back seat, like kind of punching down, and friend one is in the passenger seat. My dad couldn't get a full swing because of the roof of the car. The ceiling of the car was keeping it from getting a full swing in, which I'm glad he didn't, because my dad is very strong, and he probably would have fucked him up pretty bad. So he takes a couple licks in on him, and we get him kind of settled down, and I'm just trying to get him back home. That's all I want to do. So I whip the car around real fast. My dad is kind of holding him down. I'm driving, and as I'm driving, he's still fighting to get out. He can't figure out. He's so fucked up. He can't figure out how to unlock the door. Thank fuck. But he rolls the window down and is trying to get out of the window as the car is moving. I'm freaking the fuck out. I just say, fuck it. If he dies, he dies. Okay? I pull over. He goes out the window. I grab him by the pants. He wore fucking jorts for some reason. And he was fighting so hard that I knew that either I was going to let go and he was going to be a man in jorts on acid on the side of the road, or I was going to keep holding on and he'd be a man in boxers walking down the side of the road in a Spider-Man hoodie. And I thought maybe the former would be better. So I let him go.
Oh, okay.
And he just takes off running towards, I guess, the interstate, which would have taken him an hour just to get there, because we live out in the woods. So we pull back, and I have to call the cops. I didn't want to call the cops, but it was the only thing that we could do that I could make sure that he doesn't hurt himself or someone else. So we call the cops. I tell him, "Hey man, friend one is out. We think he might have been drugged or something. We don't know the situation, but we do know that he is he's this tall Puerto Rican dude, looks kind of like Jesus, wearing a Spider-Man hoodie. Can't miss him. Also, he's wearing jorts." And I'm sitting there. My mom is looking at me, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What's going on?" And I'm sitting here. I'm sober, you know. Add that onto the list. I'm sober. All my friends are tripping. I was just straight up. I was like, he's tripping. Everyone's okay. And then they weren't even mad, really. They were more mad that we were, what's the word? Just irresponsible enough to be tripping in the first place. And that I didn't try to stop it. And I didn't want to tell them that I had been tripping before, etc. You know, it was just, I didn't want to get into it with her. And So then we get a call maybe 30 minutes later, and they said they found him. And from the time that I got back to the car, got in the, when he left the car and when we got back, that man had got hit by a car. He had jumped in front of a car and got hit and survived with minimal damages.
Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
So let's just talk about what happened, because I know after the fact what happened based off of what he told me. But what happened was there was this old lady driving, and she was driving kind of slow. And then he jumps out in the middle of the road. I don't know if it was like a suicide attempt in his fucked up experience, or if it was just he didn't know where he was, or he didn't understand that he was gonna die. I couldn't really get that out of him after the fact, but he jumps in front of this car. The car slows down. He kind of gets out of the way of the car. They're freaked out, by the way, obviously. The car starts to kind of pull off, and then he just basically jumps on top of the car as it's moving, and hits his head. Left a really bad goose egg, but luckily they were only going around 15, so it wasn't that bad. It could have been way, way worse. And thank fuck she was an old lady and was driving slow, because that could have been terrible. But anyway, then the cops find him after the fact, because she calls the cops too. It was right after, so they put 2 and 2 together that this is my friend who might have been drugged.
The Jorts boy.
Jorts Jesus.
Jorts Jesus. Yeah.
So Jorts Jesus is out there. They are trying. The cops get there. The cops are trying to get him in the car. He's not cooperating. They had to tase him twice just to get him in the car. He was completely psychotic, completely lost his mind. And so they take him, and we had to call his mom and let her know what was going on. I didn't handle that. I think my mom was the one that called, because I couldn't handle it. I was traumatized, basically. So
of course, a lot just happened.
Yeah, and all of my friends are freaking out now. Friend 3, the one that's kind of holding it together the best, was like, hey, any of the drugs that you have in your house, because we didn't really have drugs in the house, but we had weed. And said, any of the drugs that you have in your house, you should flush, just in case they come back and start like searching your house, etc. And so I take the friend 1 had copped almost an ounce of weed for him and his friend. And I had to flush that whole motherfucker. I didn't want to bury it. I didn't want to do anything like that, because I was afraid that if I did that, then that's intent to sell. Well, yeah, and they'll get you for intent to sell. And that was not something I wanted to do. I took any of the paraphernalia that was like bongs or pipes, anything that was smoking related. I took out we have a little shack out here, and I buried it underneath the shack. It's probably still there. And
that's funny.
Yeah, some of it at least. And anything else that, we have guns in the house, so we took the guns out and we hid the guns, and etc. Just tried to keep anything that, if he did come back, if he was suicidal or anything like that, we wanted to keep him away from anything like that. So we're waiting, and we don't get a phone call about him. We don't get a phone call. And I'm thinking he's dead. I don't know what's going on, other than the fact that he's been detained. He got hit by the car, and then he was detained. He was in the hospital. But they didn't say, hey, it wasn't that bad, because they don't tell you shit like that. They just kind of do it. They just say, hey, you got hit by a car, etc. I'm thinking we're going to go down there the next day and just pick him up from jail, and he'll be sober and everything's going to be good. So we all decide we're just going to get some sleep. after all this crazy ass day. We go to sleep, wake up, crack of dawn, and we're gonna go rescue friend one from jail. And so we go down there, and I tell them, hey, we're here for friend one. And then they're looking through the records and stuff, and the lady at the counter looks at me kind of funny, and she said, you sure you're looking for friend one? And I said, yeah, I'm looking for friend one. She said, okay, have a seat over there. Then we wait for an uncomfortably long amount of time, and a police officer comes over to us and says, hey, who are you guys looking for? I said, friend one. And then he had this look on his face that was not a good look. And I said, why, what's going on? He said, can I ask you something in confidence? And I said, yeah, go for it. And he goes, what's wrong with him? Just said, what's wrong with him? And I looked at him and I said, I think maybe he's been drugged. He seemed to be the type of person that enjoyed that kind of thing. Basically saying that he took drugs, but I didn't want to say it out loud to a cop because it made me feel weird.
You wanted to help your friend, but it was difficult to also, in the process, not snitch on said friend.
Yes, and I was very afraid that they would think that he's just crazy. And
right, so you didn't want them to misinterpret the situation either.
And so I just told him I thought he had been drugged, or maybe he took drugs, but we weren't aware exactly of what went down. And he said, okay, yeah, sure. And he leaves and comes back like 20 minutes later. We've been sitting in there for almost an hour at this point. And he says, yeah, you can't, your friend's not leaving right now. And I'm worried because he had just been in the hospital all night. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him. I have no idea what's happening. And he says, yeah, your friend is currently in his cell, butt-ass naked, just yelling at the top of his lungs. And I said, that's it. We broke friend one. He's broken. He's gone forever. Just like what people say acid is like, the dangers and perils of acid, I thought that he fell into that. You know, everyone has a friend. I just said like, and you know, a bunch of times. Fuck it.
8. Yeah, I'll just put that as 8. I was going to say, was just to confirm, was this actually acid or mushrooms? I don't remember.
This was acid. Yeah.
For sure. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. And so at this point, I thought, I had a friend one time who said that, well, it was my old manager, and he said that he had a friend that took acid, and he thought that he was a cup of orange juice for the rest of his life, and was freaked out that people were going to tip him over. And I always thought that that was some bullshit, which it is, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's bullshit, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
But at that point, I'm thinking, what if it was? And in my head, I never thought about the fact that maybe he has underlying mental health issues that were exacerbated, possibly even caused by or brought out, underlying things that were brought out in him. And he shouldn't have been the type to take acid, because he really shouldn't take acid if you have underlying mental health issues at all. And so I remember his mom calling me, and she's cussing me out, saying, acting like it was my fault. And he was the one that acquired the acid, by the way. I didn't go out of my way to get acid. I've never done that. It's always been just one of my friends.
Well, as you established at the start of the story, you when you saw all your friends hanging out, they sprung that information on you.
Yes.
Oh, we just dropped acid.
Yeah,
it was never a conversation.
I was a little mad at the time because I wanted to have a day that was to myself, and I couldn't have that because I was babysitting a bunch of people who were on acid. And that's fine. You know, I said, again, 9. It is 9. What it is. It is what it is. It happens. I wasn't mad about that, really. I was just concerned about my friend, and I really didn't like his mom calling me, acting like she knew what was going on in the situation, trying to make him out like he didn't know what was going on. when he took it, or when he acquired it and gave me some. So she's calling me saying, where'd he get it? I know one of y'all sold it to him, and y'all drugged my boy and all this stuff. And I didn't like that. Anyway, so later on in that day, after I had been there, I'm talking about, we went at 8 a.m. sharp or 9 a.m., whenever they opened. And later that day, I get a call, probably around 7 p.m. I get a call from a number I don't recognize on my house phone, which was weird because none of us ever used the house phone. I answer it and I say hello, and there's this long silence, and then I just hear a man sobbing, yelling, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I realized that it was friend one, and he had kind of come to, and he just was apologizing up and down, up and down, up and down. And so, yeah, basically he had to go in therapy after that. It really fucked him up for a while. And also it made him, he stopped smoking weed for a while after that. And my parents didn't want him to come back and live there at first, but then I think they realized that he wouldn't ever do something like that again. And then he ended up coming back and living with us for a little while. But I will say something that made me very mad about this whole situation, and I've never said this publicly, and if friend one is listening, I want him to know. So prior to all this happening, I backed up. He parks in weird ways in the yard sometimes, and he parked directly behind me, almost T-shaped one time. And I was talking to a friend, and it's a huge yard, and I didn't even know that he was home. This is before all this happened, by the way. This is months before. And I back out while I'm looking at my friend getting in his car, not thinking that I need to look behind me, and I back out and hit his old 92 Mustang. I said again, add it to the list. Hit his...
That's 10. So wait, it's the same car that he almost killed me in.
Yes, that one.
Gotcha.
We could tell,
okay,
we
so
could tell that
still,
story.
man, that car that was constantly falling apart.
Yeah, that one. I ran into it, and it caused a dent. Okay, and you know, this car he couldn't hardly sell the damn thing. All right. I run into the car. I freak out about it. I was like, oh shit. My car was fine, but it caused a dent in his. And I went in there and I woke him up and I said, hey man, sorry, I backed into your car, but you were parked real weird behind me. I didn't know what the fuck. Add that to the list. I didn't know what the fuck I was supposed to do. And so I tell him, sorry, I'll try to pay you back for it or something. But I'm thinking in my head, there's not even a real point in fixing the car because the car's falling apart. Anyway.
Just get a new car.
Yeah. And so after all this happens, a week or so, add it to the list.
12.
About a week or so after all this happens, he says to me while we're all chilling, I'm having a few drinks. He says, yeah, man, I was pretty mad about you backing into my car, but I'd say after this, I'd say we're about even.
Oh my god, yo, you got his speech pattern down so perfectly. Wow, I can't believe he had yeah, you did it so great. Wow, I can't believe he had the audacity to equate those two things. That's crazy.
That was kind of, and I told him that was kind of when we stopped being as cool. Was after that, because I already kind of resented the fact that it happened, but I also understood that he wasn't in his right mind and all this other stuff, and so I was just letting it go. And then he said that, and I just went off on his ass, man. I was like, you could have killed my dad, you could have killed me, you could have killed friend 2, friend 3, you fucked me up for like I can't enjoy smoking weed anymore because now I'm afraid my mom's gonna come over here all the time and look through my shit, add however many I have in there. And yeah, dude, It was bad.
Okay, well, looking back at the whole experience, ignoring that last part, the infuriating bit that he added, how with now that it has been years, and you're a different person, how do you think you would have handled that whole situation differently, or do you think you would have in any way?
I wouldn't have put myself in that situation now.
Do you think you would have? They've been like, "Hey, can you babysit us?" You would say, "Hey guys, we didn't talk about this beforehand. I would rather not."
Well, I think the difference is now is that I wouldn't be hanging out with people who are doing acid in my own home.
Even me?
Well, that'd be different though. That would be a thing that we would discuss beforehand.
Of course, I would discuss it at great length, and I would have a plan. You know, it's when we talked about this before. I've never taken acid or mushrooms, and if I would take acid or mushrooms, I would like to either be with my girl or with you, and maybe, as you said, have like a bit of a plan. I just said so I'm going to take some hot sauce, but have a bit of a plan. And so I'd probably put on the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition.
That's a good one. That's a good
have
movie
some
for
snacks
that. Yeah.
And stuff. And maybe even a little bit of like weed. I just said like, again, so I'm going to take a bigger portion. Actually, no, I was holding the spoon already, so that doesn't count. So I would probably just have everything arranged ahead of time to know that I feel comfortable and that the person who's agreed to babysit me in this hypothetical situation, you, feels comfortable with it, that you don't have other plans, that neither one of us has, and that whatever we engage in, we're both having a good time, that it can't be just a one-sided thing.
I agree that those are all good points. I think the big...
That's how you normally talk.
Yeah, I feel like a robot person. I'm about to take a bunch of shots of the hot sauce too. I'm not too happy about that, but I will say that the advice I would give to you beyond what I've already imparted to you, which is kind of what we just talked about, would be just do what you love to do when you're on acid. You'll know. Like, make plans of a bunch of things that would make you really happy. 14. My big things are play a video game, something real chill, watch a movie that you love, an activity, go for a walk. Well, like a walk on acid is amazing. It's way different than a walk on weed.
I'd love that.
You know, it's so there's this and I know that you have the same sense as me. Is you like the idea of we're going on an adventure. That whole
absolutely.
And a walk on acid is definitely an adventure. I would say wait until you know you're comfortable and go for a walk by yourself. That's like the add it to the list.
I was going to ask, is there any overlap in your experiences from like getting very, very high on weed and maybe microdosing? Is there any overlap in those experiences that maybe you could bestow in the form of information me with?
I mean, after you take acid, every time you smoke, it feels kind of like you're on acid.
Interesting.
It's very subtle, and it's more of a subtle reminder. I think it goes away with time. I don't know. There was this whole thing that people said that acid stores in your spinal column, but I think it's bullshit. I think that's an old theory. You know, you crack your neck.
Yeah, that's like 90s.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
90s,
but I
80s,
do think that because I think what it does is it makes you appreciate the psychoactive elements of weed more in a way.
Gotcha.
And they're very gentle reminders. For example, one time I smoked weed and I was looking up at this light and the ceiling was kind of that drippy ceiling. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what that's called.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But the light, like around the light, again added to it, around the light, it was wavy and almost, I think the best way to describe it is if you've ever watched those slime videos or videos of people playing with slime, it's kind of like that. And the light itself looked green when it was a normal yellow light. And I remember thinking
Ooh, I
I was
see.
really high. Like I was really, really high. And I was looking at it. And if you get high on weed, normally you don't have those visual hallucination type things. But it was definitely a post-acid high. But it's nice. It's people act like acid flashbacks are bad. I have them all the time. And they're just very chill. Very, very chill.
So this is all really interesting to me, and I've only taken one psychedelic in my whole life, and it didn't even work fully on me. It was salvia, and I had a salvia experience in the dark with my friend at the time. We were at his home in the conservatory.
Yeah.
Just sort of so, and he removed his shirt.
Yeah, I remember this story.
Because he was worried that the shirt would absorb the smell of the salvia, which smells like shit. And
While you're talking, I'm dumping a bunch of hot sauce in this thing.
I was gonna say, actually, you have 16 offenses that I caught with you. So how are we gonna distribute that? And maybe we ought to return to the hot sauce, the hot sauce.
Yeah,
in a way where we. Maybe one full
I'm
spoon.
gonna do something really horny. I'm gonna mix my two hot sauces together in a large amount.
Oh man, this sounds like crucible of death.
Yeah, I've got. It's gonna be basically an entire tablespoon of hot sauce. Is what I'm about to ingest.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your reaction.
I gotta
to that.
say though,
yeah. So
hold on. Before we get into the story, I want to say I'm kind of proud of myself because I know that if you count the likes when I talk, I could hit 16 in 2 sentences if I'm not thinking about it. So if I hit 16,
Absolutely.
I'm
You
sure
did
we missed a
great.
few. Let's just say 20. Let's just say 20-ish.
in reality, it was probably 40 something. And I was really enthralled in the story. It was hard. I had to remind myself, wait, pay attention.
I stopped giving a fuck as much at the end too.
Right, but you did great. No, you did way better than I could possibly do. If I had to talk for as long as you did there, I would certainly fail. I'm confident. So you did
All right,
great.
I have
I'm
my
proud of
hot
you.
sauce mixed together, by the way, just whenever you're ready.
Great. I'm ready. You take it, and I'm going to start telling a story, and I'm going to listen
That
to
works.
your
That works. I will try to be
to your-
engaging in your story. Why am I doing this to myself?
gentle sounds of pain.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is great.
I'm taking my shot right now. Down the hatch.
So they took their shirt off, and they hit the salvia first, and they actually hit it before we got to his home.
Yeah.
And we were chilling. You sound good. You sound like you're alive. We
Things
were
are
chilling
good.
with their friend. With their friend at the time. We're in the city of London. He hits the salvia, and at first he's convinced just it's doing nothing. So he's hitting it harder and harder, and he's just keeps doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
Through a pipe. He's doing it over and over again, and then eventually it hits him all at once. And it was short. It was brief. I think he experienced it for approximately 4 minutes. But he started seeing rail tracks everywhere. He was saying train tracks. I see train tracks everywhere. Wow, everything's made of train tracks. And I could see him losing his sanity in the sense that he wasn't speaking like how he would ordinarily speak. He sounded almost like a child marveling at something magical. And he would describe things like everything is made of these train tracks. So I asked him, what do you mean? He said, look over there. That road, it's got so many train tracks. And that there's a person made of train tracks on a train track vehicle. And it was a person on a bicycle.
Wow.
And then he turns to his other friend, and he liked this friend. He was interested in her.
Right.
He wanted maybe to sleep with her.
Uh-huh.
And she said something kind of gentle to him, and he was super aggressive in his response. He said something along the lines, "Shut up, you stupid bitch."
Jesus.
And it was just out of nowhere and really out of character. So I calmed him down. He came to, and we were both acknowledging that was crazy. So I thought to myself, hey, I would like to experience something like that, but in a more controlled
I'd
environment.
like to call her a stupid bitch.
Right. We parted ways with that friend, We got to his home. His parents were asleep. Go to the conservatory. He takes his shirt off because he doesn't want it to smell of salvia. I hit the salvia and I hit record. I had a recorder on me because I wanted to capture my moment, my first psychedelic moment. But it was so dark, it was really difficult to see anything. So I don't think I was ever actually stimulated visually in any way other than for the entirety of my trip, which is also very brief, I laughed at his nipples.
Beautiful.
He described it as a very uncomfortable and unpleasant experience for him because I was just laughing at how he was sitting there smoking a cigarette, and I was describing him in ways such as, I'm gonna take hot sauce. Count my offenses. That's one, right?
I've completely not been counting at all because I've been
okay. I'll count that one as one. I put it down. So I said, you look like a divorced Italian wife on the balcony. That's two. I would say things like that, and I would laugh at him and say, look at your stupid nipples. And so that was the entirety of the trip I came to. He was very hurt by everything I said. And then years later, when I was in college, I you know me, I've smoked weed periodically throughout different points of my life. I would smoke it quite a lot. Now I only smoke it when I'm out in Los Angeles. And when I am out in LA, I'm smoking it from the moment that I wake up to the moment that I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I'm sober. I'm a sober individual. But in college, I was smoking quite a lot of weed. And the most high I ever got was in college. I smoked myself practically to oblivion. And I turned on House. House MD.
I love this story. I love this story so much.
And I was so high, I got convinced that the entire show was filmed in front of a green screen. I was certain that this was the case because every person in shot appeared so sharp, and yet the background was so bokeh'd out. It was super blurry.
Right.
And I remember coming to that realization and thinking myself as almost a genius, and also thinking, wow, how could have we been so blind? It's so obvious. The whole episode, what was it, 1 hour long episodes? The whole episode, everything I saw would reinforce that belief, and I couldn't believe it. It kind of bummed me out a bit because it was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the episode, I realized I had no idea what the episode was about. I just completely missed the entire story because I was just blown away every moment by this realization that the entirety of House was shot in front of a green screen.
I mean, it
so,
was.
There
dude.
you go.
It practically was, in my opinion.
I'm taking my 2 shots. Bill, why don't you tell me how you're feeling? After taking your dose.
Not as bad as I thought I was gonna be, but my stomach is definitely in pain. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
I want to say, I know we're getting probably pretty close to time here. It's we've been going for a while.
Yes.
But I would like to tell a very quick story about a similar time when I think I was at my most high watching television. I just started smoking weed, and I was over at my friend's house with it was maybe 3 other people. And there's this show that we have over here called Gullah Gullah Island. And in this show, there is a frog, a giant frog who is yellow. I can't remember his name at all, which is a shame. But it is a live action show with a giant yellow frog, a man in a giant yellow frog costume that would hop and say, I think his name was like, not Inya, but something like that. I can't remember. But anyway.
Okay.
So as we're watching this, my friend, we had just hit a jeeb, a gravity bong.
That's
maybe
right.
5 times. We were completely fucked up. I had just started smoking weed. I was so fucked up. And my friend is watching the show, and he says, the frog is gonna jump out of the TV screen. Watch out, the frog's gonna jump out of the TV screen. Just look at it. And everybody said, wow, you're wigging out, man. You're wigging out. You're really high. And then I remember stopping, saying, no. I think he's on to something. I think he's on to something here.
I think that's a great summary of some of the most. That's when you know you're in a really good place when you're high, when you genuinely start considering ideas that to a sober person. And I know it's a trope, it's a stereotype, like, yo, dude, what if this thing was that thing? And, you know, to a sober person, it's like, oh, you stupid fool.
What if heaven was hell and vice versa?
But the thing is, it's not that the high person is an idiot. It's just that a high person oftentimes will sort of let go of certain preconceived notions and give you the time of day, give your stupid idea the time of day and consideration, and try to be sweet and understanding. And so when you're high, you'll find parallels where otherwise, when you're sober, maybe you would not. That's the way I see it, you know?
Yes.
So
I have a few more high stories, but I think that I should save those for another time.
right. How about you just like to end this episode, you pull your pants down and just like give us the gnarliest wet fart.
Well, if I do that, I might shit myself.
Possible.
With hot sauce.
That's fine. That's a great way to end this episode.
Hold on. I got this, guys.